Hello again, welcome back to Atomic Candy, and right now we are open by chance. I am David. This is the lovely Miss Lady Pop Hunter, which you can find on her own channel, Lady Pop Hunter. Look it up, look it up. And today we are discussing Funko Pops yet again. And we're not primarily Funko Pop collectors, even though we have a ton of them.
Yeah, because they're
We
invasive.
we have a lot of Funko Pops. We like some of the stuff, a lot of the stuff really that Funko produces. Some of it we don't,
Yep.
but we wouldn't call ourselves fanatics.
They're
We're
like
not.
roaches.
We're not upset. What's like roaches?
Funko.
Is it with
They
his
get
one?
in your house. Yeah, you
With
see one is a million.
is that it?
You try to get rid of them, but there's more.
Oh my God. Okay. But yeah, we're not primarily fun addicts. We wouldn't call ourselves like that. Like you see a lot of YouTube channels where people they gush, they're like, oh God, Funko's doing this and that. And it's like, yeah, with us it's either, we like it or we don't.
Yeah,
And
and we collect things from our childhood. A few
hmm
new things, not a lot,
hmm
but mainly things from our childhood.
yeah, and I'm primarily more of a vintage collector myself, 80s, 70s, even 60s and going back, depending upon what from pop culture genre attracts my attention.
Yeah.
And so certain things from Funko we like, certain things we don't. But
hmm
what we're talking about, of course, is the pros and cons of Funko Pop collecting, which, I think in all fairness, we can give a relatively objective opinion because we don't hate them,
Yeah,
but
but we don't love them.
we're not obsessed with them either, I
Yeah.
would say. So I don't know if we could say you don't love them because some of the stuff you love. But
Yeah, that is
yeah,
true.
some of the
That
stuff you
is
love,
true.
like my Masters Universe Dorbs and Pops, I love those. Those are great. But
Yeah.
a lot of the other stuff, it's like, no, I don't see it or I don't feel that.
Yeah.
So we try to give an objective opinion. So we got 6 points, six pros about why we like them or why we think people like them, and six cons about why people get kind of irritated about them.
Okay.
Because there are some people out there they can't stand it or they don't get it, at
Yeah,
all.
and some
You
people
know.
just fall out of the game because they're invasive,
hmm
because they take up too much space and they get addictive, and then you just want to cut it all out.
So looking at the pros first,
Okay.
they're kind of fun. They're
Yeah,
kind of
that is
fun.
true.
They're fun to look at.
hmm
They're cute. Whatever.
They're fun to go looking
Yeah,
for
yeah.
at
The hunting.
first, until you find out that the ones you want are not in stores.
They're not in Target.
Yeah.
You'll
So
never
then you
find them
end
at
up
Target.
buying it online.
Yeah, you end up paying a markup.
Well, not all the time, because if you buy them when they're new and they just came out,
hmm
you can get them at a good price. And we've talked about several places where you can buy them. Amazon has good prices,
hmm
actually. And again, we've named off several places, so I won't go over that. But a lot of places sell them, and you can get free shipping. So, at first they're fun. They're fun. They're fun to look at, and they're fun to hunt.
Yeah, and another good point about them also is that they can tie in or with or accent other collections.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
you like I had mentioned Masters Universe, you're a big Masters Universe collector. One of her primaries is Masters Universe Vintage and Modern because
hmm
it's the original Mattels,
Yeah.
the 200X, and
hmm
the classics. But then you get the Funko Pops, and they can tie in with that.
Yeah, they all come together, especially if you display them well.
hmm
And like, if y'all saw the video where I did my Ninja Turtles, you saw a bunch of different
On
things.
Lady Pop Hunter.
Right.
Yeah.
You saw Funko, you saw Jada Metals, you saw the ones in the box, I call them the cereal box. You saw the wrestler kind, you saw Kid Robot.
hmm
It was just a different kind, and when you put them all together, they do look good and they complement each other.
Yeah, if you can get it displayed well, it
Yeah,
blends together nicely.
they do.
They're kind of nostalgic
hmm
because, many of them focus on pop culture icons and it brings back memories. You see something that you used to watch
Yeah,
and it's like, hey, I remember that.
yeah,
Or that'd be really cool to get that. And it falls in with the accenting of the other collection as well.
it does.
The initially they're cheap. That is the
Initially.
average price is
Initially.
cheap.
hmm And then they venture off if you don't find the ones you want
hmm
on time. Or if you behind the power curve, then you have to get the markup price on eBay.
Yeah. Because that and that's a whole other discussion, and we've had that discussion
Yeah.
on this channel about flippers
hmm
and how prevalent it is. But that's something, it stands out more with Funko because
hmm
of the amount of product that they produce.
hmm
If it's something else and it's some other toy line and there's only like 10 figures in it, and there's one that you have a hard time finding, like the Dragon Ball Stars,
hmm
it's kind of hard to find the Goku because he's got two pieces of the Shenron Build-A-Figure.
hmm
And so that one's at a bit of a markup. You don't feel so bad about it because it's just one figure you're trying to pin down.
Right.
With Funko, it could be 20.
Exactly.
Yeah,
And you're trying to put the whole set
Mhm.
together.
But initially, the price isn't too bad
Yeah, if you
starting
find
off
them
with.
when they first come out.
And you can find them pretty much anywhere. They're not that hard to find.
Yeah, they're in the
Funkos
gas
in general,
stations.
they are actually.
Yeah.
In the US here, yeah, they're
hmm
showing up in like Love's and a Pilot
Yeah,
and
Flying
places like
J.
that. Flying J's got them.
hmm
Dollar General is going to be getting them.
Dollar General, and we
Five
talked
Below.
about that. Once they
Officially.
start hitting those types of stores, I
Mhm.
think that's going to be where the rugs start coming out. Because you don't go to Dollar General to find a quality product.
No,
You might go there to buy some
Ghetto
cleaning
General.
supplies, maybe some cheap candles,
Toilet
something
paper.
like
Yeah.
some toothpaste, some deodorant, stuff like that. But you're not going there to say, I want to buy a good quality product like clothing or something
Mhm.
like that. You might buy a T-shirt or something like that to go work out in or
And God forbid they
wash your
get
clothes.
exclusives. Yeah, that'd be weird. That'd be
Yeah, that'd
about
be very strange.
that'd be about as weird as when 7-Eleven was getting exclusives.
Yeah, 7-Eleven got
They got a
exclusive
couple.
a couple times.
Mhm.
So you got to wonder what's going on there. And Five Below were selling them, but it was the ones that nobody
They were
wanted, like
throwbacks.
frozen.
They were buyouts. They
Yeah.
weren't being sent to Five Below for retail purposes. These will be, from what we
Yeah. The
understand.
ones that I've seen in the gas stations are current ones.
Mhm.
Like I've seen the Black Panther, I've seen some Walking Dead. It's not like a lot,
Yeah.
but they have a good fair amount. It fills up like one shelf, one gas
Mhm.
station shelf, one row. But I was just shocked to see that in the
Yeah.
gas station.
But unless it's something really specific or
hmm
special, they're not that hard to track down.
Yeah.
And many of them are things that you're not going to find otherwise. It makes me think of like the convention exclusive. I couldn't even get them. The black
Mm.
hole figures.
Mm.
When's the last time they made black hole figures? In the late 70s.
hmm
And they're not cheap. Original Disney black hole figures are quite expensive to buy aftermarket because
Oh.
they only made a handful of them back in like 1978. You can't find them. So, but then they made Vincent and Maximilian from Black Hole. So if you're a Black Hole fan, hey, here we go. Here's a cheap alternative.
Yeah.
Even though it was a convention exclusive, so it wasn't that cheap, wasn't that easy to find either.
Yeah.
Or Flash Gordon. When's the last time they made Flash Gordon action figures? In the early 80s. So they make things sometimes that haven't been made for decades. And so if you can't go back, because that Flash Gordon set, especially the one based on the cartoon series, Flash
Mhm.
Gordon, those are not cheap action figures aftermarket. You'd spend like hundreds and hundreds of dollars putting together a set of basically 5 figures. I think there's only 5 figures in the animated series set, 5 or 6 off the top of my head. I don't remember.
Mm.
But I mean, you'll spend like over $1,000 trying to put that set together, finding them in good condition on the
Yeah.
card, or you can run down to FYE and find most, if not all, of the 4 that they made for around $10 a piece.
Yeah.
So it gives you people a chance to get stuff they wouldn't be able to get otherwise. Battlestar Galactica,
Mhm.
haven't made figures of those since again the late 80s.
Okay.
Mattel made them.
Mm.
And those are some pros. but and there's some cons, and we kind of touched on those a little bit
Right.
already. That, for example, even though they start off cheap, many of them do not end up that way,
No.
which brings back the whole flipper argument.
Also, not just flippers. It depends on the store too, and we touched on this
Hmm.
several times in the past. Every store has their own price. It's no set price with Funko. You go to
Hmm.
Walmart, they're $8.98. You go to Barnes and Noble, Target, and everybody else, they're
9.90,
$9.99.
9.99.
Some places it's 10, and they go all the way up. Because I've seen them in FYE 14. I've seen them in Go Calendar 17.99.
Yeah, Go Calendar
So
was real expensive.
it's like,
That was funny.
and it's not like the exclusive ones. I can
Hmm.
expect the exclusives to be a little higher,
I
for
think it's
whatever reason.
I think it's interesting that the stores that are supposed to specialize in attracting the collector's market sometimes are the
Hmm.
ones that charge the most for it, like Hot Topic.
Yeah, Hot Topic is expensive too,
They
but then
are.
they, but
They
then
have
they
the
have
sales,
they have a lot
but
of sales. They got the hot cash,
hmm
and
and that helps take the edge off a little
yeah,
bit.
it does. But still, you know.
And also collectively they can get expensive because it's one or two is cheap, but
Hmm.
when they're coming out with a whole line of them, like
Yeah, like
the
them Care
the
Bears. It's
It.
13. Yeah,
I was just
it's
thinking
like
of it.
13 of them, and
13 of
then
them, and two are chases and two are exclusives. And good
yeah.
luck.
Yeah, and then like I said, if you find them on Amazon, they're 10.99. But
Hmm.
then if you wait and go in the store and you find them in Hot Topic, they're gonna be like 13.99.
Hmm.
So you got to play those games.
Yeah, but like I was saying, collectively though, they add up quick
Yeah, they add up real
when you're
fast,
trying to put
especially you
sets
want
together.
all of them
Yeah.
and the exclusives and all
And
that.
it's kind of hard on people because most collectors are kind of completists, and they're like, even if it's a figure that they don't like, if it's part of the set, they want to finish the set.
Yeah,
And I know what that feels like, as a collector. It's like, okay, you know what? Yeah, I just need one more and I'd have a full set. You may as well just go for it.
yeah,
And
knock
they
it out.
they kind of get you on that.
Hmm.
Another one, and we just experienced this recently with the New York Toy Fair 2018.
Hmm.
Funko tends to flood the market.
Yeah, they do.
It is overwhelming. There's so many different lines and so many different items and so many different figures associated with each line that it's like, oh, slow down, let me get a breath. Because ever since they started trying to push to gear up for going public with their IPO,
Hmm.
when they started selling stock,
Yeah.
last year,
Hmm.
then when they were getting ready for it after 2014, I think it was 2014, then they started redoubling their efforts and then redoubling it again and redoubling it again. And they went from making a couple of hundred figures to making like a couple of thousand a year
Yeah.
and up. And when you count other lines,
Yeah, and this year I think they're gonna top last year. Last year
yeah,
they had a couple thousand, and they had a few hundred just for Toy Fair that they announced just at Toy
yeah,
Fair.
they announced like 70 lines of toys.
Right, and I know because I've seen others that they're coming out with a bunch of baseball for that's going to be put out at the games, the baseball games.
Hmm. Given
So they,
away.
yeah, and then they still got McDonald's to come out
Yeah, they haven't
that
even
they
shown
didn't
the
announce.
prototypes yet.
Yeah, they didn't announce that for Toy Fair, but they announced it earlier in the year
Got leaked. Yeah.
that it's going to be coming out. So by the end of the year, it'll be 5,000 things that came out this year.
It's overwhelming. It really is.
It
When
is,
you,
especially if you collect those big lines, like Star Wars is a big line,
yeah,
Marvel, DC,
Game of
Game
Thrones,
of Thrones is huge.
Rick and Morty is getting there.
Yeah, the Harry Potter is big.
Yeah, it is.
So if you collect those lines, you're gonna be very overwhelmed. Thank the Lord I don't collect those things.
Yeah, I
But
was actually kind of relieved watching their Toy Fair unveil and looking at the stuff that they put out, and we have an updated collection or an updated reveal list of
hmm
the collections that were going out. I can put a link to it down below if anybody wants to check that out.
yeah.
But I was relieved that I didn't see too much that I really wanted to go for.
Yeah, I think
It
for
gets
me it was
expensive.
only two or three things that I
You had,
wanted.
well, It.
Oh yeah,
You had
that's
You
right.
had
Pee Wee
Pee Wee
Herman.
Herman, Hercules,
Hmm.
and I know there was at least one more.
The
Lock, Shock, and
Winnie the
Barrel.
Pooh.
Winnie the Pooh and Nightmare.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
5.
Okay, so 5.
5.
Yeah, but it came out with 70.
And
So
it adds up, and that brings us back to the other point that,
hmm
collectively it gets expensive.
it does get
It's not cheap
expensive.
anymore. When $10 is $10, but when it's 20 figures, that's 200,
Yeah.
and it goes up and up.
Yeah, it keeps on going up. So you got to either try to wait and see if it's going to go down. Because sometimes if you go in a store like a few months later, you might find them on clearance and you might luck up. It might be
Yeah,
$1. Sometimes you'll find them for like 99 cents. Sometimes, but those are usually the figures you don't want, like Frozen or something like that.
another
But
Olaf.
yeah,
I had put that just recently because on my Instagram, if you don't know me on Instagram, it's open by chance. But on the Instagram, when I found those pops on clearance at Walmart for $1.25 a piece.
hmm
'Cause if I find something real cheap, I'll put a picture of it on Instagram so people can
yeah. And
check
then
out.
you found some at GameStop one time that was like 69 cents.
64 cents. That's right.
Right.
That's right.
So, but then you take a chance waiting to
Yeah.
see if that's going to happen. And then it doesn't happen. So now you're screwed and have to get it off of eBay at the markup price. So,
Yeah.
it's a gamble. You got to figure out
It is.
how you want to do it.
Another problem I find is that
hmm
Funko is too hit or miss with what they produce. It's
Mm.
like they just pull licenses without researching if there's any interest whatsoever. Someone
Yeah.
throws a license out there, or they come to I don't know if they come to Funko and say, "Hey, do you want to do this?" Or
hmm
Funko probably hunts. They probably
Yeah.
hunt down licenses and put feelers out everywhere.
Yeah.
But everything that pulls their line,
hmm
they reel it in and they produce something.
Yeah, like Golden Girls
Golden Girls.
or
Although
Saved by the Bell.
yeah, Saved by the Bell. Golden Girls, I don't know if that's the best example because apparently a lot of people ended up liking those.
Mm.
Saved by the Bell, not so much.
Yeah, I'm
But
surprised
yeah,
they didn't do Charmed.
don't throw it out there. If you throw it out there, the Funko gnomes will hear you and
Yeah, and
start
then they have Charmed
manufacturing
coming
them.
out in 2 weeks.
Yeah, but I mean anything that hooks that line and they reel it in, and
hmm
when you reel it in and you get a little fish, you throw it back in. No, not with Funko.
Funko.
Every little fish they get, they reel that
Then they
sucker
make
in.
10 chases, and
Yeah.
it's like it's not selling. Why are you making up for this? Why are you making out? Why are you making more?
Like Atomic Blonde that they made
Like 2 chases. It's only 4 figures.
4 figures, two of
two
them are
chases.
chases. It's because they know there's going to be a lackluster interest.
Yeah.
Then why are you
Was
making
that
it?
even a popular movie?
I don't think it did well.
Um,
No, I don't think it pulled off. Everybody was before, without even looking at it, they were like, "Oh, you're trying to do John Wick as a girl," and they were like,
yeah, Yeah.
"Yeah." Another issue, and we've seen a lot of this with both Target and with their queuing system.
Yeah.
Funko seems to ignore their primary fan base.
Yeah. They don't care.
They don't pay attention, or else they would cut back on Toys R Us because
Not
everybody,
Toys R Us, Target.
Target, I keep doing that.
Yeah.
Everybody is frustrated with how things go with Target.
Yeah, but then they keep giving Target. It's like, oh, everybody hates you, so let's reward you by giving you more stuff.
Yeah, they get more and more
And then they get the
releases
good stuff. Why they don't
constantly.
get dumb stuff like Game of Thrones or something like that? You
Most
know what I
people
mean?
don't think Game of Thrones is too
Yeah,
dumb, but
you're right about
yeah,
that.
they
But I
like a
mean,
lot
they
of
could
people
get
like
like
them.
Star Wars, you know.
They have. They
Yeah,
had the
get
Red
more.
Stormtrooper
Good.
that
I don't like Star Wars.
that people ordered and were angry at because half of them arrived damaged. Yeah, and then Target insults the hell out of you
Yeah.
by sending you damaged product. Way to go. I wonder who's on the phone.
Excuse me. I'm hang it up. Sorry
I'm
about
not going
that.
to edit that either. I'm going to leave that in there. In case you were ever wondering if this was scripted, obviously not. No
No.
cuts here. We just talk. But but yeah, they seem to ignore their primary fan base, and especially like, I watch the Facebook. I am not a fan of Facebook, but I cover the Facebook because it's how I get a lead on a lot of stuff I talk about in the weekly roundup.
Mhm.
And I see how people react when they say, "Guess what? We got X coming out for Target." Like when they announced that they were going to have the 10-inch Thanos that we just did in our last weekly roundup.
Yeah.
And it's like and it's going to be at Target, and everybody in the whole feed, like 722 complaints. It's like, God damn, another one? Come
Yeah.
on, Funko.
So it makes you wonder, do they
hmm
read the feed or does no
No.
mean yes to them?
Yeah, they don't pay attention. I don't think they listen to the people.
No, they
They
don't.
act like they do, but.
Whatever.
And here's your favorite one. They're invasive.
They are invasive.
They get into
They're
everything.
like kudzu.
They're like kudzu. It can overshadow your primary collections. If
Yeah.
you're not only a Funko collector and you're like, oh, this would be cool, let me add this and let me put this here, and
Yeah.
here's a few more, and here's 5 more of these, and next thing you know, you can't find your collection. It's all it's all Funko.
Because that's how I got into it. I got one figure.
The Undertaker.
The Undertaker, because
Yep.
I'm a huge Undertaker fan, and I have, some autograph pictures
Yeah.
and stuff like that. So oh, that'll be cute. Just set it with the autographs.
And then you want some things to go with the Undertaker, because Undertaker he looks naked without Kane. And then you got to add Mick Foley in there.
You got to add everybody.
Yeah, you
And
got to add
then
everybody.
then you start looking at it online, and you say, "Oh, they made that. They made this. They made that."
The next thing you know, you get
Your
the whole set of Ninja Turtles.
Yeah, your whole room is covered in Funko.
Yeah, and it overshadows. And then those little boxes,
Yeah,
are not easy to display as people think.
Yeah.
They're
Not
kind of
unless you
difficult.
make a custom shelf.
And we'll give you a tip here. You know what works really good for them is those CD, DVD shelves.
Yeah, DVD shelves, because they fit perfectly.
And you can often find them because the depth is good, because usually people put them on bookshelves, and then you end up putting them 3 and 4 deep because you get all that extra space, and then you can't see them anyway.
Yeah.
The CD/DVD shelves, they're exact depth. There's like that much, like a half an inch or a quarter inch of space left at the tip of it.
And they're usually wide enough to fit
that
a good number across without having gaps on the edges.
If you saw a couple of her display videos from her room, you see how close they are. There's space like that wide between most of them.
Yeah.
So that works out really well. But yeah, they can overshadow your rest of your collection.
Buy some DVD shelves. CD DVD shelves.
Look for them on like Craigslist or Let Go or OfferUp first.
They're usually free.
Because you can find it, free or like $10.
Yeah.
It's not a bad price.
I bought a bunch of them for $5 and $10.
Yeah.
Off of those sites. Even at Goodwill, we found them.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty cheap. And, you can display them well. Set them up and make them look nice.
Yeah, so there's ways to work around it, but they do take up, for little boxes, and you're like, oh, it's just a small box. It'd be so easy to display. No, it is not that easy. They take up space quick.
And then you lose sight of what you really want to collect, because like we said, I collect Masters of the Universe and Ninja Turtles and all of that stuff.
Wrestling figures.
Well, wrestling figures, some Thundercats.
Like
but then you get the pops, and then you end up with more of the Funko than you do with the stuff you want. So then you're like, man, I need to cut back. And if you ever had kudzu take over your house or yard, you cut it back.
Again.
They keep growing. It's like the more you cut it back, the more they grow.
Yeah. So unless you're primarily a Funko collector, then I guess it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
But
I've seen people that are primarily Funko collectors, and they still overwhelmed because they're like, oh, I got this just because. Whatever reason, and then it's too much.
Or like I was saying, they end up with them stacked 3 and 4 deep, and you can't see them anyways.
No,
and that
so why
takes
bother?
away from it.
I don't want that.
And then my biggest complaint: flimsy packaging and shoddy construction.
Yeah.
The boxes are like cereal box.
It's worse than cereal box.
They are so easily damaged, so easily scuffed. They're often found damaged.
Yeah.
The toys themselves, a lot of them, they're painted badly. They're
broken.
Their construction is bad. That was a huge complaint with the Flock Bugs Bunny.
And the Thanos.
There was
not Thanos. Hulk with the hammer.
Hulk, the hammers were all broken.
Yeah.
With the Bugs Bunny, not only was the packaging crushed, and that was courtesy of Target, unfortunately, mailing them in, but a lot of them apparently arrived physically damaged too. I was hearing complaints from people that the carrot arm was actually snapped off in the package.
Thank God mine wasn't.
Yeah, but and I had one guy he pointed out too, and he said that, when you handle them physically, the
Mm-hmm.
actual toy themselves, they feel cheap.
Mm.
It feels like just a cheap vinyl blob. And this is a Funko collector. This guy's got a thousand of the damn things. And he was telling me this. He said, yeah, I like to leave them in the box because they feel cheap. It's not
Mm.
like when you buy a quality toy and you
Yeah.
hold it in your hand and you're like, yeah, this is pretty like those like your Masters Universe Classics. You
Mm-hmm.
handle one of those loose, you can feel that, okay, you know what? This cost me $25 new. They're like,
Mm-hmm.
what, $25,
Mm.
$30 new? That, okay, yeah, it was kind of worth it because that's pretty solid.
Yeah.
There's nothing solid about anything Funko makes.
No.
They all feel cheap.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, more so, it's an issue with the packaging. The packaging is flimsy, it's too easily damaged. And I'm like, your Dorbs boxes are solid.
They're
They
more
are.
solid than that.
They
And
are
the
solid, and their
what's the
two-pack
other one? The
boxes are
Hikari.
solid. The Hikari boxes are solid. Even the small ones are
Yeah.
solid boxes. Why then? I mean, I know you're trying to drive the price point down, but why? You could do a little better with that cardboard. I mean,
If
come
they
on.
wanted
If
to,
they wanted to,
but they don't care.
yeah, I
And
guess
we
not.
all figured that out already.
Yeah, they're just making money. I mean, I
Yeah.
get it. I get it. They're a company, they're in business to make money, but I really do get the sense that they don't love what they're doing.
Yeah.
Like Super 7, you watch Super 7 and you see the work that they do, and you watch the guys who do the work, or the people who sculpt and work in their departments. You ever
Yeah.
watched any of Super 7's actual videos? They love this stuff. You get a sense of that, and you can
Yeah.
see it in the toy too, and in the quality. Pay a little more for it, but you can see it. With Funko, I'm not feeling it. I
Yeah.
don't think they really care.
They don't.
But that's our points. 6 positive and 6 negative. Is there any that you think that we missed, positive or negative? Do you agree with our list? What do you feel about that? And we're like I said, we're not trying to pull the rug out from under you if you collect Funko. We get it. We have a lot of them
Yeah, we
ourselves.
collect and we
We
still
got a
got
ton
some
of them.
pre-order.
Yeah, we're still, I mean, there's still some coming out that we're
Yeah.
like, yeah, I want to get that,
I mean, but you can't be all like, oh, I love Funko. I'm blind to everything else. You got to be honest. It's crap.
That's a different channel.
Oh,
Hey, there's 1,000 Funko channels like that where they just gush. That's what I was saying. Say,
yeah.
oh my God, they came up with this and this, and you're watching it like, what in the hell? But
Yeah, you can't live with blinds as all.
I
Just
think
admit it to yourself. Funko is crap. It is. It is. It's a crappy product,
it's
but it's addictive.
yeah, it is addictive.
It's fun to collect. I mean, you got to be honest.
Sure.
It is fun to collect. It is addictive, and they do put out things that make you reminisce of your childhood, of when times were better. But it's not the best product out there.
I could say that about the Mego 3 3/4 inch figures from the late 70s and early 80s.
Hmm.
Like the Dukes of Hazzard figures, the ones that are this big on the
Yeah.
card were made by Mego.
Hmm.
They're garbage,
Yeah.
but they're cool.
Yeah, I mean,
They're cool.
and that's how Funko is. They're cool.
Yeah, they're just cool.
It's just a crappy product, but
It's
they're
not well
cool,
made.
so
But yeah,
that's
so
just how it is.
we're not trying to rain on your parade here. And I know that honestly, I think a lot of those channels that do that, they're doing it because they think they're gonna get something from
Yeah, they're
Funko.
trying to suck up the
And
Funko.
some of them do. Yeah, I've
Yeah, they
seen them
get
at
the free
case of
things to look
case
at.
of blind boxes to open up for their
Yeah.
channel and stuff. And send me a case of blind boxes.
They're not
But
sending you because you talk
no,
bad about Funko.
no, because I'll tell the truth.
Yeah, they don't want
That's what
that.
it is. They don't want the truth. They want
Yeah.
they want you to bleed on their flag to keep it red.
Yeah, like
But
Jack Nicholson says, they can't handle the
they
truth.
can't handle the truth. Well, I did those with my Mystery Mini unboxings. I unboxed a case of the X-Men. I didn't
Hmm.
like them. The Funko Mystery Mini X-Men's. I thought they were cheap. But I unboxed a case of their Garbage Pail Kids. I liked them. I thought they were well done.
I think you kept them.
Yeah, I did. I kept a set of those. I kept a whole
He's
set,
supposed to be
and I
giving them away.
I gave away the extras because I did not get a whole set like people would say, but I gave away the extras from those actually.
Mm.
And also, I've got my eye on the upcoming Funko Garbage Pails. I'd like to
Oh
get
yeah, I saw that. That's on
5 of them. One is a chase though.
Continuum Toys have it. You should go on
Continuum
there.
Toys has everything.
Yeah, you should go on there, except for it.
And we're not sponsored by Continuum Toys. We just
No, we're
recommend
not.
them. I
Because
wish I
they're cheap.
was.
No,
I
because
wish I
they're
was.
cheap and they do fantastic packaging.
Packaging.
If you've seen the unboxing,
Yeah.
you'll
Our
see
Funko,
they do
our
great.
giant Funko unboxing was mostly Continuum Toys, and they did
Yeah.
a bang up job with that
They
stuff.
did.
And they even screwed up the order and fixed it that day.
They did.
Because we noticed after we did after we shot the video, hey, there's a couple things missing.
Shot them an email, and
Yeah.
they was like, "Oh
And
man,
they're
I'm
like,
sorry.
we'll
Here
fix
you go."
that. 3 days later, it was on the doorstep.
Yeah.
So that was pretty cool.
Mhm.
But again, hey, what do you guys think? Do you agree with the list? Is there anything you would add? Anything you take away? How do you feel about it? Just trying to have an honest discussion. You can go ahead and put it in the comment section down below. Right there between the two of us is a comment section. Nothing can get between us.
I'm so lame.
Well, nothing can get between us. Come here.
Glitter David.
No.
That's his new
No, it
nickname.
is not. No, it is not.
Is Glitter
No,
David.
no. Do not call me that.
Okay, call him that because that's his name.
No, it is
Glitter
not.
David.
No, it is not. That sounds like a DQ name.
What's DQ?
Drag queen.
Oh, drag queen, yeah.
Yeah,
Ooh.
yeah. Don't do that to me.
Yeah, Sparkly David.
No, that's worse.
Oh.
What's wrong with you?
Because there's the light on you.
Yeah, I see a spot has appeared on me. That happened to me in another
Spotty
video.
David.
No.
Oh.
Now it makes you sound like I'm sick. Will you come on?
Okay. Okay.
Anyways, if you got something out of the video, please do give it a thumbs up. Please do share and subscribe. If you are new to the channel, please do go ahead and subscribe. Check out our other videos. We have a lot of discussions. We have weekly roundups. We do comic books. We do toys. I know there's an empty background right now, and I know. Yeah, I know. You're breathing. I mentioned it from time to time here. We were in the process of moving, so there's nothing to show right now.
Yeah.
And we're hoping to fix that here shortly.
Mm.
So thanks for watching. Let us know what you think, and we hope to see you again soon.
Bye.
Bye. You're just too cute. I think so.